Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to look at two preview features. So just a fair warning now, not all properties, not all parts of these features are available just yet, but it should give you a good idea of what these features will be able to do in production. One is the DevTest Lab environment and the other is Security Center. Now DevTest Lab environment we can look at first. It's pretty useful. It's going to allow us to create environments that we can give our developers and testing people access to, but at the same time limit how much money they can spend, the size of VMs they can create, really creating just a little sandbox environment for them to use. Now I've already created a DevLab environment on my subscription, but I will show you how to do this in a minute. But first of all we'll take a look at the one I've created. So if I go to my resource groups, we've got a resource group for the DevTest environment, and we'll just select that. That'll bring up the DevLab environment resource group and its elements. One of the things that the DevLab environment will do is build virtual networks and storage accounts to store all your elements for your development lab in. And there's a ton of useful settings in this development lab. So if I click on the DevLab Resources, and then we'll take a look at settings. Then, like I said, think of this as being about limiting what the development team can do inside this resource group. So if I just scroll down for a minute, one of the useful things we can do is limit the number and size of VMs that can be created in this lab environment. So if I say allow VM sizes, just click on that, and we're going to enable this feature. And what this allows me to do is limit the selection that people can make as they're creating VMs. So we can select any combination of the size of VMs here. So if I just say standard A0, A1, A2 and A3, we'll save that. So as people create virtual machines, or create virtual machines that are limited to these choices. I'm also going to say, now it's saved, that the total number of VMs in this lab environment, if I select that, is limited to 20. And you could put a figure inside there that you need, but I'll say 20 VMs at a max in this lab environment. And more than that, we'll say that each user in this lab environment can create 5 VMs each. Maximum 5 VMs per user, 20 VMs altogether, and they must be of the size that we've laid down. The other thing I'm going to do is, because I know my testing team only work 9 till 5, we're also going to enable auto shutdown. So through here we're going to say at 1800 hours all VMs in this lab will be closed to shut down. So that gives them a bit of leeway after that 5 o'clock finish time. And we're also going to say auto start to make sure that the VMs are online and ready for my developers where they come into work the next morning. So notice here we can have different times for weekends, which is really useful to us. So I want to enable this. So each VM will come online at 8 AM, but not for Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays and Sundays we'll leave them offline so that they don't come online when our employees aren't there wasting us money. Now a little note there says we also have to configure each VM to support this policy, but we can do that as we create the VMs. So those features there, allowed VM sizes, total number of VMs, auto setup, they're really useful for us. Now like I said, this is a preview feature, so some of the elements are not available just yet. For example, the cost threshold. This will be useful. This is going to allow us to limit based on the amount of money. So when people are building VMs and spending in this lab environment, we can limit them to a particular amount, so they're not spending tens of thousands of pounds in their little devs. The other thing we can do as well, or we'll be able to do, is limit based on templates. So if you're into Azure Resource Manager templates and JSON, you can limit based on the templates that can be used as well. Other options on these settings will show us details of the VMs deployed and virtual networks that those VMs are configured on. Again, preview, not all features available. Now, with this lab in place, we will then use role-based access control to identify the users, the groups that have access to this lab environment. Now, this is the same as role-based access control that we've covered in previous videos. Feel free to check those videos out. We'll talk about role-based access control there. Now, with role-based access control in place and our lab parameters in place, people will be connecting and then create VMs. You can see in the lab environment we've got the cross at the top. Click on that, and that's standard VM creation. So we say VM size, and just to show you here now, we're limited to the 4 VM sizes that we chose in the previous section. All the rest are grayed out. So fairly useful this. It's not designed for production machines, but we are connecting to a virtual network, so they could interact with other production environments. In an environment like I work in, I'm going to find it very useful to say to a team of people, look, this is your setup, this is your lab, this is what you can use. And then keeping full control, knowing exactly how much I'm spending and using, and keeping that away from my rest of my production environment. So that's a nice little feature, is that the DevTest Lab. I created it, by the way, by clicking on New, and if you just do a search for DevLab, DevTest Labs. Sorry, DevTest Labs, and it comes up, and it's just a couple of yeses to create a DevTest Lab environment. So that's one feature. The second feature I want to show you today is Security Center. So if I could scroll down my list of feature types, at the bottom we've got Security Center, and if you can't see Security Center on there, then just do a quick browse and find Security Center. Again, still in preview. 2 main parts to this. We have prevention, and you can see prevention highlighted there. And if I scroll down, we have detection. So prevention is all about protecting your environment so that threats can't get in, for want of a better term there. So it monitors your virtual machines, virtual networks, and monitors how healthy they are. And you can see from mine here, not very healthy at the minute. So if we drill down, we can see that virtual machines, there's 4 high severity warnings there for my virtual machines. For my networks, there's 1 medium security threat. We've got a list of recommendations as well. So let's just drill into some of these. If I look at virtual machines first, under resource security health, and drill down, we can see a list of VMs, and I can see that Exchange 1 here is missing system updates, anti-malware, and baseline security settings. It's not conforming to my baseline rules. ADFS 1 is missing anti-malware, is also not conforming to my baseline security rules. So there's issues there with these VMs. If I click on a VM like Exchange 1, it'll show us detailed information about Azure 1, and again, severity levels of issues that this environment has detected. So if I say for Exchange 1, for example, there's no anti-malware on there, so it's saying that's a real issue for Exchange 1. And one of the nice things that this tool gives us is it knows that there's no anti-malware on there, but it gives me the option up here to install anti-malware on the machine based on the anti-malware extension. So it's not just a reporting tool, this Security Center, and a lot of circumstances it can actually fix issues as well. if we go back, we can drill down to recommendations. Oops. And inside recommendations, again, we've got security issues that it's picked up, and severity levels. So applying system updates, for example, will show us a list of machines, and then the system updates those machines are missing. Although it doesn't let us install those updates from this console now, you'd have to go and use your standard patching methods to install those updates. At least we've got visibility of all the VMs that are missing critical updates from Microsoft. So really useful stuff. All this is based around our security policies as well. So we have a security policy section, and this allows me to collect data from the various machines. So you can see it's collecting data, the type of data it's collecting. So if you're not that bothered about system updates, you can turn that off. You're not bothered about monitoring for network security groups, you can turn that off. So it's only monitoring the areas that security policy is defined. Now I really like this tool as a very visual way to check each day that your VM's up to scratch. Perfect. Now further down we have the detection. Now this is not very exciting for me. This is where detected security threats will be displayed. So if it's detected any malware or breach in security, it'll be displayed down here. You'll see the machines that have been affected, and also suggestions of what action can be taken. So slim preview, expect a lot more from that, and I imagine it'll tie into the operations management suite at some point as well. So 2 features there. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We've got lots more Azure stuff coming up over the next few weeks and months, particularly around Azure Resource Manager. But if there's anything that you would like me to have a look at and demo, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you.